General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ne Mutabaniwe buli olukya obudde bwongera okubaddugalira. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ICC International Criminal Court n'ensimbi ebizaalizibwa banka y'ensi yonna okutyoboola eddembe ly'obuntu ate ebigambo byongedde okutabukamu anti abo bamusiga nsimbi abadde bamuwa ensimbi kati ate batandise okulaba saidi y'endala bulijjo gy'abadde amaze ebbanga eddene ng'akweka. Saba tusooke nkulaga akatambi kano ffenna tukalabe ate nkomewo twogere ebigambo.
We are comrades and we have a leader. And the role of our leader is to lead. But the role of us is to hold accountable. And if I look at my own country, and most of you know that I'm in Amsterdam, and if I do something wrong, I will be held accountable immediately. A week ago, I drove 4 kilometers too fast on the highway. I got a €40 fine. I'm being held accountable. I will not do it again. I will not make that same mistake again because I'm held accountable by the system. But if I'm not held accountable, then definitely I will speed. I might even drive through the red light because, hey, why would I obey by the rules? So holding leaders accountable, holding people accountable is fundamental for any society, and it's fundamental for Uganda. And the reason why Museveni has been in power for so long, we know that especially the first 15 years, that is where we gave him the power to turn Uganda into a dictatorship. We allowed it to happen. He came up with excuses to extend elections, to have a one-party system. We allowed it to happen. We didn't hold him accountable. Look in Western societies. In my country, the last 200 years, we had 5 years of dictatorship. And then people fought and they removed that dictator. Now, it's not only about holding the dictator accountable, right? And definitely that's what we're doing. And you have to do it in all ways possible. Obviously, in Uganda itself, but also, for example, in the ICC. As most of you know, in May, me and a team of Ugandans, we submitted to the International Criminal Court 1,500 pages. Eventjes niet, want ik ben even bezig. Okay. So, but to remove this dictator, it's important not to just hold him accountable, but hold everyone accountable. Please close the door. Please close the door. Even de deur dicht doen. Later even, kijk. Ja, volgende keer dan. Ik zit even in. Children. So I'm going to hold them accountable, by the way, for disturbing me. So not just the dictator, but we were already talking about doctors and lawyers, and there are ways to hold them accountable, and we need to hold them accountable. And one thing is our MPs. Now, Dorcas already introduced me as the creator of You Vote and a book about the elections. And the issue is that our MPs also need to be held accountable. And they forgot to hold accountable Parliament. Because after an election, the Electoral Commission comes up with a report. That report has not been discussed in Parliament. It would have been the opportunity to hold the Electoral Commission accountable. I mean, I've been writing that book, I've been writing tweets, but obviously that does not have the power that an MP has. An MP can demand to discuss the elections and point out everything that went wrong and embarrass the members of the Electoral Commission. And they have to hold accountable the Electoral Commission, and we have to hold accountable those MPs that failed to do this. So that is one. And another thing, the Ugandan Human Rights Commission is also an institution that has to report to Parliament. But our Parliament, it seems not to bother about discussing that report. And holding account is hard work. Yeah? The book Rigged that I wrote, it describes all the rigging. Those are the accounts of the elections. Mm-hmm. And when I document human rights violations, then those are also accounts. Now, Dorcas, maybe there are some questions in the meantime, because I want to step out for a minute, okay?
How do we make them start protesting in what? Not protesting, not fighting, but making sure when such bad bills come in, they let the nation know, and then we can take action through protesting.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, we actually about to go to the moment of silence. However, let's take Munansi, your question. Please let it be brief. Then we'll have a moment of silence and have Dr. Nico. Yes, Munansi, unmute, ask away.
Thank you very much. You notice I normally come in, but I don't most of the time participate, but I'm listening, and I thought that would be my contribution at least to be on here. Now, my question is going to be very simple. Already Reggie has contributed a lot on what I wanted to say, but now that we have an opportunity, a president is coming back to the country.
As you know, Beka Kato Luwama, Shannon Mubuke, Tomo Bila, you know, he was only 17 years, you know, Livingstone, Mutesa Sira, and of course, so many of our brothers and sisters have been murdered, you know, by this ruthless regime of Museveni. We pray, we may our brothers rest in peace, and let us not stop at praying like we've discussed, but rather fight, because we need to actually fight for our rights. Nobody else is going to fight for us. It's not going to be handed to us on a silver platter, but we need to fight. Otherwise, our brothers and sisters have not died in vain. Some of them, it is sad, you know, it is sad. Some of them, they just killed just like that. Some of them were tortured to death, you know, over maybe just wearing a red beret or t-shirt because it's a symbol for one of the opposition parties, and the dictator doesn't like that, you know. And then others, bullets were flying, and you know, it is sad. It is sad. We cannot continue to be silent. Thank you so much, Munansi. I think you had already submitted, and now we need to get back Dr. Nico, or maybe let me confirm with you. Had you finished your question?
Yes, that was my question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Nico, over to you. And by the way, guys, Doctor has a database. I believe he should tell us about the tortured comrades. And of course, we do keep a record of our brothers and sisters that we've lost. It is sad. And these are things, this is evidence, you know, when tweeting, we have to go out there and we have to go with evidence, you know. Thank you. Thank you so much. Doctor, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Dorcas. I noted down some questions, but it was not clear to me what the question was for Mr. Munansi.
Oh, some of them were thoughts about, and then the rest, I think Nancy said Reginald had, Nancy, I'm unmuting you because doctor needs to get your question again. Very briefly, please. Okay, I hope you're hearing us, Munansi. Yeah.
Hi, I'm sorry because I'm on the road and I can't talk too much. My question
Okay.
was, how are we going? Can we maximize the opportunity that of fifth, the return of it?
Fifth, the return of the president. Right. Okay. All right. Okay, over to you, doctor. He's
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, Dorcas, would you be interested if I show you, since you were talking about the victims database victims project, if I show you what kind of tools we use to collect those testimonies?
The tools, or perhaps
yeah, actually,
we could see some
maybe it would be interesting to show the people the forms that can be used by victims of human rights violations, so they can very easily report the crimes, and if they wish, it's up to them. It's just submitted to us, but it can also be submitted to international institutions like the ICC.
Yes, that's right. And also, I believe it should have a format, so at least people mentally know that when somebody has been brutalized, they just don't give a name, maybe one name, their first name without a surname. So give maybe the whole detail. I'm sure your form is detailed, so that will really shed some light on how people can get information of the victims, and then we are able to. Yes, please. Let's see some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but let me. I'll start with the questions. Reginald was asking to give some tips, what we could do, and to keep that connected to the theme of today, holding accountable, and what he was doing, holding accountable church leaders. That is also very important. So people in churches, just like Reginald is doing, have to keep accountable those church leaders, because I want to remind you that it was the churches where most of the rigging took place. Church of Uganda was the worst. Significantly more rigging in church polling stations than in non-church polling stations. And again, I make the comparison to the West, where churches are held accountable. We know that 30 years ago, church pastors have brutalized hundreds, thousands of children. And all that is coming out now. Even up to the Pope, he is being held accountable for that horrible act that was committed by the Catholic Church. And that is the only way to sanitize even these servants of God. So that is my answer to Regina's. Then Mimi was asking, how can we hold those MPs accountable? The issue in not just NUP, but all parties of Uganda, that there are no ways to keep the leaders really accountable. There are no party conferences. So most of the parties very seldomly have a party conference. maybe even only 1 in 5 years. The National Unity Platform, to my knowledge, has not held a convention. A convention, by the way, is a conference where the people are taking decisions. And since the National Unity Platform is called People Power, this is where I confront the leadership of NUP with, where is the people power? Or are we leader power? And that is not just for the leaders of the National Unity Platform, but obviously also for the MPs. And so if the National Unity Platform was like I wished it was, then every 3 months we would have a conference where we would be passing resolutions and we would be criticizing our MPs. And for example, it would be a NUP conference, and I would say that our MPs are failing because they are not addressing issues like discussing the Electoral Commission report, discussing the Ugandan Human Rights Commission reports. And I'm sure that such a resolution would be passed with a 90% majority of NUP members. And it would highly embarrass those MPs. And that is the only way to keep them in check. So that is Mimi's. And then Munansi is asking about 5 October, when our president is returning to Uganda. Yeah, I think what I've seen, the president posted on social media, I'm coming back on 5th October. Directly, you saw people saying, okay, we are going to receive him in Entebbe airport. Obviously, that is a very good idea. We need to take those opportunities to embarrass the dictator, because all those people will embarrass the dictator, just like the National White Tour, where there were thousands of people coming to see our president and the other NUP leaders in peace, was a very strong signal to the dictatorship. So those are the answers to the questions. Dorcas, do you already want me to continue with some of those the information for the victims?
Yes, doctor, but I've got just Godfrey only, and then maybe we'll, yes.
That is fine, because then I can prepare for it.
Yes, Godfrey, please unmute and ask doctor or your submission.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dorcas, and blessings to everyone on the platform. Yeah, Regnod submitted some very, very good, valid points, and people should do follow his example. Now, as to regard with the MPs, some of our MPs went in there, they were inexperienced, yeah, that we know, but it doesn't take long to get experience since they are adults. And to become an MP, you would have had minimum standards of education. So it shouldn't take you long to really come to grips to the reason why you are elected by the electorate. Now, yes, we know the Ugandan situation, the people, they've got this idea that an MP is paid so much money, so we should bring that money back to us. Yes, we don't object to that. But among providing ambulances, they should also, as Doctor said, they should demand accountability in a parliament, day in, day out, until whether they are listened to, they have to still submit. Come on social media, tell us what they've requested in the parliament. But we hear few people, few MPs, who actually follow that doctrine. it's not very hard because I don't know exactly what they are doing in the parliament, which is not really there to, at the moment. It's not serving a purpose. They are just there to rubber stamp everything the dictatorial regime asks for, because the numbers we have means most of the bills will be passed, whether they like it or not. But they should make their mission day in, day out to ask for this accountability, remind the regime that they stole our election and the people are bleeding on the ground. And the people on the ground should also know that to demand not ambulances, because there's no point of having an ambulance when you go through the potholes, and on the other end of the ambulance, there's no beds or medicine in the hospital. So you are better off asking them for accountability, ask them to make noise in the parliament. That's how things will change. But if an MP brings you a cow and then you beat drums, yeah, our man, then it goes, he will go and do his own job, saying, I've fulfilled my duty, because no one has demanded the accountability. Thank you very much. Oh, and another thing I want to ask Dr. Nico, can we get the book from Amazon or not? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Godfrey. And of course, you're one of the key people on the ground demonstrations, never missing any. And of course, yes, it is in order to ask for the book Rigged. So Doctor, please let us know where people can get copies. I know ours are exhausted. We don't have any more. Yes, Doctor, please, over to you.
So Dorcas, are you saying that you ran out of your copies that you have?
Already exhausted. I took mine to the parliament. Yes, we will.
Okay, then we need to get some new copies. And then my question to Geoffrey is: in which Godfrey, in which country are you in?
He's in the UK.
Oh, he's in the UK. So yeah, so because the issue with Amazon, it's something that Kakwenza is also facing with the distribution of his book. The transport costs are quite significant. Since most of our comrades are located in UK on the East Coast, in certain areas, it's easier to have local points of distribution. So what I'll try to do, Dorcas, is I'll try to get you some new books, and then you can use those. And do you already have Kakwenza's book? Dorcas, do you already have that?
Doctor, yeah, yes, I do have a message for you in the chat. Yes, we will. Yes, we will get copies to them. Yeah.
So, because I also have 50 copies of Kakwenza's book. So it's my problem at this moment. I have more of Kakwenza's books than my own books. So people that want to have Kakwenza book, they can also contact me. So that is about the book. To show you a little bit about the victims, is it possible to share my screen, Dorcas?
Yes, please, your co-host. So
okay, thank you so much.
Yes, please.
So then I'll
you have 2 other questions coming after that.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So so I think everybody is now able to see this one. So this is a list of the database that we have published in October last year. Those are 1,277 names. I have to say that now, also with the help of Ismael, that is part of the Uganda is Bleeding team, and several other volunteers, also Mimi is a volunteer. We have expanded the database, and of this moment there are 2,200 victims. But we are a little bit careful with publishing those lists. So for the moment, I keep it with publishing this one, the 1,277 names, because this one is already sufficiently impressive, right? And so in this list, this alphabetical list, and now I don't know if people can read it, but it's alphabetical. So the first one is Atema Godfrey, the second one is Abalo Irene, and the third is Abdul Salam, all with an A, because it's alphabetical. And then the color is mostly orange-red. That means National Unity Platform. And the reason for that, blue is FDC. It doesn't mean there have been more NUP victims than FDC victims. It's just that the focus of this list is on recent years. Obviously, in 2011, 2016, those elections, there were likely also thousands of FDC victims as well. But this list is mainly of the last 3 years. What is so horrible is children. There are a significant amount of children here. There are very many women here. There are many environmental protesters here. Just to mention one, Musiri David, he was again abducted last week, and if I'm not mistaken, he is still not released, right? He was also in many of the environmental elections. That's why he's not even listed as red NUP, but as the environmental color. So, and if I go down, and let me see if I can do that. Yeah, so you can see that it goes all the way to Z, and I think, yeah, the last one is Siwa Akram. So that is the list. Oh, and one color I want to explain is yellow, which are victims from Karamoja. But Karamoja is also very much underreported, because we know so many victims are there and you never hear their names. And so we need to know those names of those victims. And how can we help to get that information? And that is through the forms that we use. So I'm going to stop this one, and now I'm going to share another window, which is this prison torture report form. So this is a form, a 2-pager. So you could print it out on the front and the back side of a A4 paper or letter format, and it has the basic information of prison torture, and for example, it asks specifically how often prisoners were interrogated, what was asked, what was the crime that they were alleged of, who were the people in charge in that prison, and obviously the location of the prison and data of the prisoner. And then let me go down a little bit, and from a legal perspective, we need to document were you denied access to a lawyer. And I need to ask that question specifically because, as you know, I submitted to the ICC. That was based on many testimonies. Those were horrible testimonies, but most of the victims forgot to say anything about their right to a lawyer being denied. So that's why it's important that this specifically asks you that question. Were you denied access to a lawyer? Were you denied access to a doctor? And then the circumstances. We know usually the food is very dirty in prisons. It's a human right to have decent food, to have decent clothes, to have proper hygiene, to not be with 100 in cells. And you can imagine that when we send information to the ICC, it's important that we document that. And so this part is the circumstances. And then to make it even more horrible, the specific torture technique. And prisoners obviously say they were beaten, but we want it to be as specific as possible. So there's beaten, then and you can be kicked with boots, and then the others are being stabbed, being whipped, caned, battered, and even more horrible, raped. All those, and it's unfortunate. These are based on testimonies where we saw many of these torture techniques being reported. So it's unfortunate that many people have been hung on ceilings, have been burned, have been given electric shocks, have been waterboarded. And then we want to know, when they beat you, where do they beat you, or where do they kick you? It needs to be specific as well. The more details, the more credibility it gets with any institution. So this is really helpful, because if you ask someone, yeah, just describe what happened, they don't know which part to describe. But this one, and it also makes it for you easier. The people here on Uganda is bleeding. I think most of you, me, myself also, we have not been subjected to torture, but maybe we know someone that has been tortured and we would like to have their testimony. And then in this way we can help, because it doesn't necessarily have to be themselves. You can be on the phone and you can just ask these questions and you can write it down. And obviously there's one thing that that person needs to do themselves, and that is sign. So there is this signature part. I swear this testament is accurate. That one, they have to sign themselves. But the other things can be filled out by someone else. And very important, two very additional questions. Can the info be published? And the other one, can the information be shared with trusted human rights organizations? And that is also including the International Criminal Court. I also have another form to show. Shall I continue, Dorcas, or are there already some people that have questions?
Yes, let's continue, and then we'll take the questions after.
Okay, so the other one, and now let me see how I do this. The other one, because this is just, okay, yes. The other one is the abduction, because this was about prison torture. But so typically what happens, someone gets abducted, in the drone, someone already gets tortured. They get delivered to the safe house or prison, and there the second stage takes place. So this is quite different, and that's why we have a special form which is called the illegal arrest form. So again, standard details like name, phone number, birthday, date and time, but now specific about drone abductions. So first of all, how do you know it was the authorities? Because many of these drones are operated by plainclothes operatives. And as you know, the Ugandan junta is even denying. Yeah, they say, yeah, no, it's horrible that there are abductions. Basically saying, no, it's not us. And so it is important that we know they are related to the Ugandan junta. Yeah, and we try to find out who was in charge. And again, when you are abducted by a drone, they should tell you what the alleged crime is. How many people were abducting you and how many people were abducted? Usually they go from one house to another, and the victims are just dumped on top of each other. And describe what happened in the drone, and also what happened before. Were you already receiving threats? Those are details that we would like to know. Now, again, this one is also a front page and a back page. Something that you might even forget to mention, but was any property stolen or damaged? We usually know that they try to damage as much as possible. And again, torture techniques in the drone are mentioned here, although they're slightly different. Usually, since drones are small, they are not whipping and they are not waterboarding, but they usually use other techniques. So that's why it's slightly different. Again, a signature is necessary, and whether the information can be shared. So that was the second form. Actually, there's some other forms as well. I don't want to go into this one. These two are the most important. So anyone can just inbox me and get a copy of these forms, and you can then also use them. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor, for this. Yes, we will distribute them. We will tweet, or we will find a way of sharing. We will put our email so that they can actually contact us, and then we will find a way of getting the forms across. Thank you. And comrades, even if you don't have the form, at least you now see the format, at least ask the relevant questions, get the full details, the names, because even we're faced with so many issues. Somebody tells you I've been abducted and you don't even know the actual location. You can't even get help to them, so it is important that we document things and of course ask the right questions. Thank you so much, Doctor, for this. Yes, I will put the email in the chat. Please ask away. Doctor is here for a few more minutes. I don't know if it was Amina whose hand was up. Apologies, comrades, I lost count and I've forgotten. I don't know, you lowered your hands. If you could please raise your hands once again. I think Amina and Kato, did you have your hand up? Yeah, if you have a submission, a quick one. Kato, I've unmuted you, and then all those that have hands, please quickly, and let's get Dr. It is sad, but for me, Doctor, I just sort of wanted to say, in Uganda, we see all these henchmen of the dictator. Of course, they are not held accountable. Instead, they're promoted. We've seen like the way the elections were so brutal. They were brutalizing people. The people like the generals, the majors, they were instead posted to various regions and reinstated. They should have been fired or at least been put in jail for their crimes. If anything, they are being promoted. And talk of being accountable, even the parties, we are not doing anything. For example, when Mao sold off, it was not too long ago when they did the documentary, what was that documentary? Brilliant Genocide. He called Museveni a wolf in a sheep's skin. And then guess what? The wolf recruited him and he's gone off to work with that wolf, you know? So people should even ask him, oh, we thought he was a wolf in a sheep's skin. What are you doing working with such a person? So yeah, he's gone on, and we are just quiet. We've got that culture of being accustomed to suffering. We have not been designed to suffer. We have to stand up, we have to fight and redeem our nation. Yes, Doctor, I don't even know if that's a question, but I think I was talking about the thieves being promoted rather than being held accountable. Like the Iron Sheet thief, the Prime Minister now took a delegation of people that only one person is going to address, you know, and take 70 people with you. Why? We have Karamoja, there's no food, there's one air ticket could feed the whole of Karamoja, and they've taken 70 people. These are people that will require visas, they require, visa fees, air ticket, feeding, the whole lot. Anyway, I will go on and on. Doctor, I'll give you the mic. Yes. Oh, Kato, if you ask away, Reginald, and then we give Doctor the mic. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to first say thank you, Nick, for really bringing up this business of accountability. I will just give an example of how I was again. I was driving. I was driving back home, and I just exceeded by. I was doing 77 kilometers on a 50 kilometers, and they stopped me. Yes, then their usual thing where they want, they give excuse so that you pay the money, basically. And I said, I gave my license, they called me out and they chatted with me. And then one of the things they did was, I said, okay, you give me the ticket, go and pay the fine. They said, it's going to take long and the rest. I said, no, don't worry, I'm here, I'm going to pay the fine. And then eventually they gave me the ticket. Then one guy became guilty. I said, no, you don't have to be guilty. You're making me accountable. And so next time, I'm not going to speed again on these roads. And with my family, they were making me accountable, making sure that I drive carefully, not to speed. And that is one of the things. And I learned it from my daughters. And I don't know whether perhaps it's our education system back home. From childhood, we don't ask lots of questions. We have the colonial sort of education system where it was all taught. This is the master and this is it. So we don't, and yet people have the brain, they can ask questions, but we cannot ask the question. Hence, it's where we are. And of course, the dictator created it, made it worse. He brought in the class thing. If you're a church leader, you are to be ranked highly. If you're MP, you're supposed to be ranked highly. You are there. The other people, I'll call them plebs, or us, or the ordinary people, are not. They make you even more poor. You look at all these people, the way you dress and everything. So our esteem is basically low. Could it be that is making us Ugandans even not question? You have potholes actually somebody put it this way, that they used to have potholes on road, but now the roads in potholes, and you're comfortable with that. And you have all these things that you know are wrong and nobody can say anything. Is that to do with our education system? So thank you.
Thank you. Internet is playing up. Yes, please ask away, Reginald, and then we go back to Doctor. We are drawing to a close soon, comrades.
Yes, I'm trying to enable my video. Doctors, you can You there?
Good now.
Yeah. Am I able to enable the video? Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Comrade Kato. Yeah, I mean, we all suffer from that culture that was orchestrated by colonialists, but we're also fighting to overcome. We don't know how to ask questions. Many times we are lecturers more than practical doers. But that is changing. Africa, the whole Africa is changing. You've seen the events in Niger, Gabon. For those who care to know what is happening, what was at the UN, you had what the rhetoric lectures of the day were about Africa. Africa belongs to Africans, no interferences, and all these puppets like Museveni, who also have their selfish desires to create dynasties and then accuse other people of being tribalistic. Those lies have been blown out sky high. But I also want to take this opportunity to thank you, Dorcas. I know somehow you reach out to these people and you assess them. They are very busy. Dr. Nico, the work you're doing, we are beating, this. They thought to us, there were intellectuals who thought that we cannot beat them at their game. But there goes Dr. Nico and his team bringing out exactly what is supposed to be presented so that these so-called intellectual systems do not pretend anymore that we don't know what we are doing. Thank you so much, Dr. Nico, for that. I also want to remember Dr. Mugeni, who your family, we have not forgotten you. You lost somebody. You're in a time of grieving. We are with you, Dr. Mugeni, and we're also thankful for everything you're doing to add value to humanity. Yeah, kusiru kuibirira etabe busya abasamia hulinawe. Uganda ilinawe, Docas alinawe. This forum is with you, Joe, Joseph, everybody. Please don't feel like we have forgotten you. Back to you, Dorcas.
Thank you so much, brother, for that. And of course, yes, it's like you read my mind because I was going to tell guys, Dr. James is with us. He should be listening in. And he lost his brother. And then first he lost the niece, and then 2 weeks later he loses the brother. So there's been so much going on in his end of the world. Yes, thank you so much, Brother Reginald, for that. Yes, Doctor, we roll over to you and we'll be closing very soon. Thank you. Oh, my video was off. Doctor, the mic is yours now. Okay, I think we must have lost you. Sorry, comrades, I didn't realize my video was not showing. Doctor seems to have lost connection or dropped off. But yes, thank you so much. Please do speak to us. I don't know, one of our leaders is here. Henry, do you have a minute for us? We can learn a thing or two.
Thank you so much, Comrade Dokos. I don't have so much to say, just to, thank everyone who spends time to be part of this demonstration, online demonstration. Without you, we wouldn't be here. And please, just to encourage you that the only way to enable us to rescue our country is just to pass this message, to bring as many people as possible to board, and also getting engaged or close to information that are on the same cause. And then this platform here, I think we need as many people as possible. And I just want to encourage, oh, sorry, comrades, I didn't put my video on. Oh, it's on, you can see me. So I just want to, okay, great. I just want to encourage every comrade on this platform to at least bring one, and then that one will bring another one. And then by the time we are close to the victory, I'm sure Ugandans will all be together and will be speaking the same language. We should always try to use these platforms here, encourage people who come out with such initiatives, encourage them, and this way we'll be able to rescue the Pearl of Africa. I don't have so much to say, apart from say, thanking you again, comrades, for coming, and thanking you so much, Docus, for your resilience, for your time, for your courage. Thank you so much for everything. And also the speakers, the previous speakers, thank you so much, Dr. Nico, and of course, the rest. I can't mention all of you, but we're here, we listen to you, we learn, and together we can. And that's why we're here. Thank you so much, comrades. That's Henry, Denmark.
Thank you. Thank you much, brother. Yes, it's good you've mentioned, because I was going to say that's our leader in Denmark. Yes, thanks. The mic has gone out for all those that would like to give a submission. Thank you. New York, the mic is out. Proceed. I think Sam. Yes, the mic has gone out to you. If you have a word, I see Robert, you've unmuted. Please unmute, speak to us. Tell us what's on your mind. Yes, Robert, your mic is unmuted. We can't hear you.
Hey, do you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Yes, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who was on the program. I think, it takes a lot for someone to invest time on a Saturday weekend to keep up to speed with what we're faced with in our country. So I would like to thank Nico for his contribution and everyone on the call. I think he made a lot of good points, and there are no excuses. I think we've been very naive as the citizens, especially back home. If you look at where we came from since the elections, is halfway through the term, and you really, really wonder. I mean, there's one thing to have fear, but it's another thing to face reality, because you don't tell me you get voted to be an MP and you feel that you can be intimidated. Right? So this idea that some of these people were inexperienced, and as someone rightly put it, it would take you, I mean, if you're at least reached age 6, it doesn't take you a month or two to get up to speed with what your duties are in the position you're in. Yeah. Of course, we know a lot of these people have been compromised, but again, it is upon us, the masses, to put these people to test. So I think we should also blame ourselves as citizens, the citizenry, that we've not put enough pressure to these MPs. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of things Nico said which are really, really, really important, to the extent that even these religious leaders should at least be put to book. And then what is even shameful, that we even allow someone like Mao, who contradicts himself, and now he even comes to public to say that he's going to make things right. Yet he was saying something different in the past. Yeah, I think we've been taken for a ride. And then I don't know how we can disseminate information about putting accountability to everyone, especially the Node people. Okay, not only Node people. Yeah, even if you look at FDC, yeah, you see the wrangles, yeah, and then you wonder why they are not put to book. And the other thing which is also telling is to do with the fact that most of these parties, they just do their own thing, and then they don't bring their followings to put them accountable, like Nico rightly said. We are people power. When do we connect to the people? When does FDC connect to the people? When does the GEMA, yeah, bring, they should also have their own followers. When do they time and again bring their people on board to give them some civic education, basic civic education? So there's a lot of work to do in terms of civic education. And it's really even bothers me that I think we're almost 3 years on this platform, and then we only have 25 people on this platform. Yet we always have some really, really good lectures, workshops, you name it. Interesting speakers here. So we really need, like Henry said, we really need to share this information. We know people back home are really challenged with the economy. Data is very expensive, all those, on whatever. But we need to encourage ourselves and our brothers and sisters to really tune in on this Saturday. It's only 2 hours, but you can really get much. So I think that's my contribution tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dorcas, for the good job, as always.
You too, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much, comrade. Yes, just to remind each and everyone, this is an online protest. This is where you come and demonstrate, and there'll be no bullets, no tear gas. So feel free to say whatever it is you want to say. And if you don't want to show your face, that's why we play clips on here, so you don't have to feel like you'll be in danger for speaking. Okay. The only thing I haven't learned is to maybe play around with your voice, so that if you're really bothered about the dictator knowing or hearing your voice, then we can do something about that. Thank you so much, Brother Robert. In the chat, I'm trying to, I think it was Patrick, Brother Patrick is saying, a lot of work needs to be done in northern Uganda. The morale has gone down. He's saying activism is dead. Yes, a lot of work has to be done, not just in northern Uganda, but everywhere. And even then, when are you guys going to be upset? For me, I'm already upset. If anything, I got upset the day the elections, the day bullets were flying around and our brothers and sisters died. So since then, we've been talking. So whether it's Christmas, if Saturday falls on a Christmas, we have even held Zoom on Christmas. If it falls on when someone is in hospital, you ask them for internet and run the Zoom. So that is how angry we have to be. And those that are on ground, be ready. That's how we're going to get change. The dictator is going to pack everybody and lock you up in the detention camps, and we'll just be quiet because we are so accustomed to just saying, yes, sir, jump how high, and we jump. The dictator has done everything he wants to do. At the moment, he's even going to tax you whilst you're in the diaspora, and you're quiet because we pay our taxes here. But very soon he's going to say, right, Mr. Kato, you're in the UK, okay, every month you're going to pay tax for being Ugandan? And we will say yes, because we're just saying yes to everything, yes to this dictator. And he's not even supposed to have been president. That reminds me, let's tweet. We have to have our tweets out. Please share the tweets. Let's get this started. Let me put this clip on for you guys. This is a mobilization clip for people to join in on the field. So I just sort of wanted to show you a little bit. I hope you're really motivated. Guys, president has gone around mobilizing. When I say president, I'm not referring to your dictator. I'm referring to the one and only His Excellence Bobi Wine, Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, the president of the National Unity Platform. Is the one I'm calling president. The other one is dictator Madara Museveni. Yes, thank you so much, Sam, for that. Yes, Sister Tina, please unmute, speak to us. Dr. James will be coming to you. Ladies first.
Thank you, Sister Dorcas. Wonderful job you do every weekend. I'm so proud of you. Dr. Nicole, thank you so much for all you're doing for our brothers and sisters. I'm here to encourage. You guys know I'm all about protesting, protesting, protesting. That's what I do here in the U.S., besides going to talk to those politicians. So I just want to remind everybody to get out there and protest. It's your right to protest. And right now, all eyes are on Uganda. The ICC is watching. And I said this last week, I'm going to say it again this week. I hope I don't sound so redundant, but this is very important, brothers and sisters, that we do protest. If there's any shady business going on with that dictator, murderer, killer, rapist, or his regime, guess what? The ICC is going to come a lot quicker than they are with putting these cases together. Hands up to Dr. Nicole and all the team who put all this together for the ICC. I can't appreciate you guys enough. Also, on the 5th of October, as you just showed that video, get out in large numbers, big numbers, because it is a public holiday. Our president is coming back home. So I urge everybody, I want millions at the Entebbe airport. I want it to be flowing abundantly, many people to welcome him back home. He has done a wonderful job out here in the diaspora. He has been in the State Department, he's been meeting with different people, and he's been really pushing hard. So it's time for us, brothers and sisters, to start backing our president, start standing with him and start doing what's right. You know, God, he will be there to help us. You know, faith without works is dead. Our brothers have said that on this Zoom meeting multiple times. So we got to do some work, you know. I'm not saying go out there and be violent and stuff like that. I'm saying go out there and be peaceful. You know, I was talking to somebody a few days back, a prophet, a man of God, and he told me, and I already know this because God, that was just confirmation, that God is in the midst of Uganda and Kenya. God is with you. When I was over there in Uganda, during 2021, I was there for 3 weeks, and I'll tell you what, in America, we don't have guns at every corner, as you know, military, police, anything like that, but there was there. But I want to let you all know, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, deep within my soul, I felt God closer. I was closer to God in that country. I felt God more in Uganda than I do here in America. So brothers and sisters, God is for us. We got to stand up We got to face that giant and get rid of them in the name of Jesus. Dorcas, thank you so much, sister. I love you so much. God bless you. Everybody, October 5th, our public holiday. And Marambi's going to see you soon in the new Uganda. God bless. Nakwagala nyo nyo nyo.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sis, for all you do. Fight that, you always putting up the demonstrations on ground in the USA. We thank you for your leadership as well. Thank you so much, sister. Yes, guys, the true liberation on the corner. Museveni claims to have liberated Uganda 9th October? We are going to have the real liberation on the 5th October and make history. Hope you're ready. Yes, Dr. James, please unmute and speak to us. How are you, Doctor?
Yes, Doctor. I'm good. I don't know where you guys are, but I just want to bring in news from the front line. Me, I'm at the front line, and thanks to whoever is attending. I was not following people so much because I'm working, but I'm only giving an account of what I'm doing in Busia. Doctors, I think I can produce a video for Busia almost every 1 hour. And I'm speaking to my people in the local language, and we have decided to take over burials. If we can attend any burial, we are going to attend a burial and speak to the people about the person who has died and why the person has died, and if it is government involvement, if there was a gaps, the people must understand that today. So for me, I'm in Busia, embedded. Every hour there's a video in Samia. If you understand Samia, I can start sharing with you. I am talking to people in Busia. Right now, we have gone to a funeral. They'll give me a feedback. And we basically go there and speak to the people and say, wake up. We have been sleeping for a long time. Busia is an entry to Uganda. We have gold, we have fish. We are 395,000 people, 185,000 women, 170-something thousand men. And we can't accept ignorance and stupidity over this small group of people. So I've decided to say I'll use my skills of community mobilization, creating communities. This is public health. And I have decided to say I'm going to be my people's own resource person. So the other days, and I was telling people that I wish they can post for us this RDC in Masaka. It's called Hudu Hussein. We would feed him on baboons. That's my message. It's clear out there. You can't come to play around in Busia when some of us are alive. We have lived in that district and we are given a district, so we are not going to hand over a district to Muhoz. That's the message I'm telling the people. Rise up as Busia. This is what I'm telling people. Let's rise up and then look for partnership. Whoever wants to come, let it not be that it's Kyagulanyi waking us up. Kyagulanyi has never woken up James. James is in the United States because he has been fighting his way up to here. And so I discovered we had abandoned our people and our people are just being fed on trash. And I'm now removing the trash from the eyes of my people. And they're listening. I speak Samia, pure. So I have a video every 1 hour going to young people in Bush and I say, get data, banks, save the videos and share. Listen to them. We are not going to be deceived anymore. So I'm trying to empower my people of Busia. I have missed most of the debate here, but I'm just giving the report to you, Doctors, what I've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, you've missed a lot, but well, better late than never. Thank you so much and for always making the time to be with us.
Awo nno wetutuuse ne Uganda yaffe n'ensi yattu mubiwulira era mubiwulidde ebikolobero General Kaguta Museveni byazza akola ebyenjawulo era naki kye tulina okulaba nga twetaasa n'okutaasa ensi yaffe. Emisango mingi egiri mu kkooti y'ensi yonna, emisango mingi egiri ku international scene gye bamanyi era gye balina ku General Kaguta Museveni. Olabye files ze bafayiringa ku baana bawambibwa, ababuzibwawo, abakolebwako ebikolobero ebyenjawulo nga bikolebwa General Kaguta Museveni ko ne famire ye nga yalowooza nti bikolebwa Uganda ensi tebimanya, so kamera zimuliko eva. File zonna muzirabye bulungi, kati nno zigenda kudda okunywa Kyagulanyi yamugamba nti nze nja kuzannya mu Lobado style omuzannya guno Mwami Museveni tajja gutegeera aligenda okujjukira nti no gavumenti twagikuttedde ekigo nga takyalimu ng'ali lwakitula akamanteeze nga bwagamba bwatu Kyagulanyi era ddala omulimu agukola mu mpolampola naye ate nga gutambula gugenda mu maaso. Kati nno naffe tulina okuba kitukola nga bannayuganda okusobola okutaasa ensi yaffe okusobola okutaasa eggwanga lyaffe nga kino tukikola nga bwe tugenda okwaniriza omukulembeze Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ennaku z'omwezi 5 olunaku lwakuna lwa wiiki eno tugambe bannaffe mwagambe munne agambe munne tusobole okulaba nti tusitula eggwanga lyaffe tukyusa Uganda yaffe ebeera ensi ennungi era ensi eyeegombesa. Mwebaza mwenna abaliko mwebale kubaako tujja kuba tuddamu. Mukama Katonda nsaba abakuume sobola tubasanga bwe naba nkomyewo bataayi mwera.